welcome to the next instalment of my channel. I'm Dull, don't follow me. Today we're going to be attempting to start my wife's 1999 Toyota Celica. Now I think it's fair to say that this car was her pride and joy for many years, and she thoroughly loved driving it. She enjoyed it, and we put a reasonable amount of investment in the car over the 7 or 8 years that I think she drove around in it. But like most things and most cars, they come to a point where they're not really able to meet the needs of what somebody wants. But rather than selling it, because it wasn't really going to be worth very much, we thought it was much more intelligent to pack the car away into a garage and wait for the right time in the future for when she would be able to maybe get it back out again and enjoy it. I don't think we ever really expected it to be sat in a garage for 7.5 years before that time came, but that's how long it was. So after 7.5 years, finally we had the space to be able to go and recover the car out of the garage. We really weren't very sure what kind of condition it was going to be in. We'd not even looked at it in all of the time that it had been parked up in the garage. We'd put a cover over it. It had had furniture stacked around it. I think it had had a bed very carefully laid on top of it during that time period. It wasn't even in our garage. It was in my sister-in-law's garage, so it wasn't something that we could go and look at it. And lo and behold, when we got there, all the tyres were flat on it, but actually it looked in remarkably good condition considering how long it had been sat there. A tow rope onto the back, a very careful drag out with a car to release the brakes where they seized on a little bit, and out it came. Didn't even need to really wash it because it had been covered over very carefully when it had been parked in the garage. So onto the back of a trailer and off to the workshop it went, where it was pushed in the corner to wait for some time to be able to see whether or not it would start. I did do some preparatory work to give it a small chance of starting, or as best a chance as I possibly could of have it starting. So the work that I did prior to the start of this video was to take the plugs out and spray each of the bores with WD-40 and basically left them to sit for 48 hours. After the 48 hours was up, I very carefully turned over the engine via the crankshaft a couple of times to make sure that the engine wasn't seized and none of the valves were seized. Everything turned over very well, at which point I put the plugs back in, and this is where the video really starts. I'll put some petrol in it. Will it start? I just don't know. Shall we just give it a go? throttle cable is completely seized up. So I don't know whether it's the cable or whether it's the linkage or what. No, throttle butterfly is completely seized. Shows that I didn't bother to check it, but it's running. Trust the Toyota to kind of work. Now I just need to take apart the throttle and see whether we can get that to work again. But success. Okay, well, bit of an update. A little bit of work has happened. A little tap with a hammer, and the throttle cable now works. So, should we give it another go and let's see? Well, let's see if the throttle works, and then, well, should we try again? Let's see if the clutch works. This could be an adventure. Seven years that car's been sitting. The worst thing was the throttle butterfly was jammed. I had to strip out the back of the car to open the fuel filler cap because that seems to have seized. I don't seem to be able to open the fuel filler cap from inside the car. So I stripped out the back of the car, opened up that, put a gallon of petrol in it and started it up. 7 years, that's incredible. This is why you buy Japanese. Crazy, crazy. So, well, I don't know what's going to be next. I was expecting this video to maybe take 3, 4 videos. I was expecting to have to take it apart, make stuff work, de-seize it. I had no idea. So, well, till the next one. Thanks very much. I'm sorry it's been so long since the last video, but given the current climate and the fact that as a family we've unfortunately all tested positive for COVID, I wasn't able to get down to the workshop to do any work, or in fact even get up the motivation and energy required to cut this video till this weekend. So I can only apologise for the lack of content. I'm hoping that normal service will be resumed within the next week or so, where I've got lots and lots of parts, lots and lots of up and coming ideas for content coming up on the channel. So please like and subscribe, especially if you want to see more Scirocco brake action.